We are coming to you live from $1 Million Studios. Your boys, Speez,
a.k.a. the Translucent Nuisance.
And the benchmark of professional wrestling, Mr. Silky Baines.
Oh, that was a good one.
He doesn't even have one for himself. No. That's just what it is. Speez on the Benchmark Show on a Thursday night, February 14th, 2019. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody.
Yep.
Glad you are spending your Valentine's Day with us here on the Speez and the Benchmark Show. Whether you're here on Periscope or over on the YouTubes, we welcome you. We hope you will consider subscribing to the program. We got the Periscope subscriptions, over 300 here recently, Sogi.
There you go.
So that is fantastic. Hello to you, Nikki3456. Glad to have you with us. And glad to have the rest of you as well. Do us a favor, if you would, wherever you happen to be watching the show, share it to everybody you can. Yeah. Whether you're sharing it on Periscope or sharing it on Twitter, we always appreciate that. And the Super Hearts are coming already before I even have a chance to pimp them out. As you know, you can support the program here by dropping those Super Hearts in the Periscope app, or you can leave us a tip at the tip jar, tinyurl.com/SB tip jar. Because as Silky is fond of saying,
these bills need to get paid.
Indeed they do, and they are getting paid thanks to all of you. So we're trying to get those Super Heart numbers up to where we need them to be so that we can cash out everything. We are always very grateful to those of you who pitch in to help the cause here. And of course, if you want to get in on the discussion tonight, you can do so on the phone lines. 832-937-4559 is the number to get in.
That's 832-93-SILKY.
832-93-SILKY. We are very grateful for those of you who are with us here on Valentine's Day. I saw some folks saying, you know what? I don't have a Valentine this year, so I'm just going to spend my time watching Speez and the Benchmark Show. What's up to you, Mr. Warren Hayes? Glad to have you with us, sir.
And Alistair Fiend, sup?
What's up to all you guys?
Shout out to DJ for screening the call.
Yes, our buddy DJ waiting for us, waiting for you to call into the program. So feel free to give us a holler. I had an interesting question that I posed on the Twitters earlier today, and I thought we could chat about it here this evening. Thank you, Alistair Fiend, for the Super Hearts. And it's me, WB. We're very grateful to you as well. There seems to be quite the beef between fans of All Elite Wrestling and fans of the WWE. And, you know, there's a good portion of them that say, whatever, you know, I just like wrestling, whatever. But, man, there seems to be some real fucking problems between people. Like, people are very pissy about their particular product not getting the respect it deserves from people on the other side of the argument. So, you know, I put it out there on Twitter earlier today. We got some interesting responses there, and I thought we could chat about that this evening as well. And we've got Elimination Chamber coming up on Sunday.
Yep, here in Houston.
Do a nice preview for that. Yep, right here in Houston, Texas. And, you know, and how can I forget a brand new edition of this week's Benchmark Power Rankings, the top 5 wrestlers of the week, according to the Benchmark Silky Baines. Yes. I got a feeling I know who's going to be number 1 this week because it was quite a week. And I'm pretty excited for this week's Benchmark Power Rankings, so I'm looking forward to that. So, Silky, you're here with me and not at home with your wife for Valentine's Day. What the fuck?
The fuck are you doing here?
Just going to put you right on the spot right there while I have a sip of this tasty Dr. Pepper.
What the fuck are you doing at $1 Million Studios? I mean, we get paid for this now, so it's like a job. So, I mean, you can't call out.
This is true.
She understands. I mean, we've been together 20 years, so she ain't going nowhere. I'm not going nowhere.
Exactly. And the same for me and the missus.
Yeah, at this point, I'm playing hard to get rid of.
Hard to get rid of, exactly. Revisionist Book says, I noticed I looked at my phone every few moments and had 20-plus notifications. Yeah, it was a great discussion earlier, so we thought we'd bring it here to the program. So, again, talking about AEW and WWE. First of all, the big news of the week, obviously, was that Colton finally kicked that bitch Demi to the curb on The Bachelor this week. So that was good news, finally. We don't have to deal with that. So good on you, Colton. I'm proud of you. He stepped up. He's the fucking Bachelor. What are you talking about? Like, you don't know who Silky doesn't know who the Bachelor is this year. So,
what kind of mayonnaise name is Colton, first of all? I mean, I already don't like him. I don't like his name.
Well, you know, I didn't like this gal, but she's gone now, so that's good. You'll be happy to hear that, Silky.
No, I won't.
I'm sure you're thrilled to hear that.
I give 0 fucks. Like, hold on, let me look at my. Nope, I'm all out of fucks to give.
Of course he is. 832-937-4559 is the number to get in. We got phone callers waiting for us already. We'll let DJ work the screen in magic over there. And get to you
Speez, do you watch
caller.
Temptation Island?
You know, Temptation Island comes on right after SmackDown, and I left it on a couple of times just because.
You left it on.
No, seriously, because I didn't turn the TV off, and I get sucked in by these crappy reality shows about relationships because these people are so absurd.
And
it's
stupid.
so not reality because they call them reality shows.
Yeah, it's so stupid because I would never go on that show.
No
Fuck
fucking
that.
way. No.
Now, if I wanted to end things and I wanted to do it in a spectacular fashion, then yes.
Of course. See, Aaron at PWP says the same thing. He watches The Bachelor too.
Team Hannah B.
Team Hannah B.
Who the fuck Hannah B?
I don't know. Hannah B. She was like Miss Alabama or something like that. And
Okay,
she's
that's
there's two Miss USA contestants
Miss
in the
Alabama?
pool for The Bachelor.
You couldn't
this year.
find someone like a better state?
Oh no, they have another Miss somebody or other, but
Like California or something?
well, shit, I don't know, man.
You know,
How about the
Alabama's-
Miz and Mrs. Miami Heat? Nah, I don't watch Miz and Mrs.
No, he gives shit because I've watched Total Divas. I don't watch Total Bellas because, you know, I don't really give a shit about them. But Total Divas is kind of interesting just to see the backstage workings and stuff leading to big shows. And he'll give me shit for that. And then he watched Mayonnaise Colton.
Well, hey,
And, you know,
see, Mr. Warren Hayes is a 90
Hannah
Day
Vanilla
Fiance
Face.
guy. Hannah Vanilla Face? What is that?
I don't know. I'm spitballing here, but yeah.
All right. Well, before we get into the conversation this evening, we've got our Roman Reigns correspondent Sasha Reigns calling it. Oh shit! And I accidentally just turned her off. So you're gonna have to call back Sasha Reigns because Silky was trying to save me from cutting you off there. Do you and Aaron just want to do your own podcast for the? No, we're not going to do our own podcast for The Bachelor.
Yeah, I'm sure you would.
Let's get to the wrestling talk here. So the big news, as I was saying, not The Bachelor, but Double or Nothing, the All Elite Wrestling program, sold out this week yet again in less than half an hour, depending on what estimate you buy into. But nonetheless, the tickets are gone again in less than an hour. They did this last year for All In, and it's getting pretty difficult to say what some people would be saying, which is basically these guys are just they made T-shirts. What the fuck else have they done? Or they don't. It's not a real thing yet. It's just a company name, so on and so forth. Fact of the matter is, this is now 2 shows in a row, and granted, they've only done 2 shows in the last calendar year, but nonetheless, that fan base is rabid when it comes to that product. And those guys, once again, sold out their show. This one will be in Las Vegas, of course. Curious to know if any of you here in the chat room got tickets to Double or Nothing. Silky, impressed this time around for them to do it a second time and sell out in this short period of time?
No, I kind of thought I knew that was going to happen. So
You saw it coming.
yeah, I saw it coming. I mean, their fan base, like you said, is rabid. Like a lot of people support Cody and the Bucks and Kenny and everyone involved with that. So you knew it was going to sell out. But my question is, can they sustain this in a weekly format?
That's exactly
And,
what...
I mean, because theoretically, if you're only running one show every 6 months to a year, it's not that hard to sell it out because you have plenty of time to promote it. But can you do that week after week after week?
Consistently is the question. And that seems to be a question that a lot of WWE guys are asking, WWE fans are asking in particular. Let me see if I can get Sasha Reigns on the phone without hanging up on her this time. Hello, Sasha Reigns. How are you? Good to have you with us on the program.
I'm good. I might go to my first non-televised WWE show in March on the 16th.
Well, glad to hear that. So just going to be a house show this time around, not a Raw or a SmackDown Live?
Got that right, and I might see Braun for the very first time.
Very cool. So, see, we always get the update on what Sasha Reigns is going to be doing. She's going to be meeting people. Now, the last time you had something like this scheduled, you were supposed to meet The Miz, correct? And that fell through at the last minute?
Right.
Okay, so this time around, Braun Strowman is going to be the one. So we'll keep our fingers crossed that it doesn't fall through. When is this show happening?
It's in Milwaukee.
In Milwaukee in March. Well, good deal. Well, we will keep our fingers crossed for you. Now, of course, Sasha Reigns being the Roman Reigns correspondent here on the program. Anything to share with us about Mr. Roman and what's going on with him lately?
He's going to be on a TV show. He lands a guest star role on Nickelodeon's Cousins for Life.
Nickelodeon's Cousins for Life. You're a fan of Cousins for Life, Sogi?
Never heard of the show.
I've never heard of the show either. So hopefully somebody out there is a fan of the show and they'll dig it. And of course, he's
It's
got
a TV show.
all right then. And of course, he's got the TV show coming up, or the movie coming up with The Rock as well. So he's got that going for him. What are you most looking forward to this weekend for Elimination Chamber, Sasha Reigns?
Of course, the women's tag titles.
And who's your pick? We got to get that out of the way now.
Naomi and Carmella.
Naomi and Carmella. Now, did you hear the news about Naomi and Jey Uso earlier today?
Yes.
Yeah, some breaking news within the last couple of hours. TMZ reporting that Jey Uso, I should say, Naomi was in the car at the time, but Jey Uso was arrested for driving under the influence, I believe. And from what I read, he was driving the wrong... Was it Jimmy? I'm sorry, yeah. Jimmy Uso. Driving the wrong way down a one-way street when the cops pulled him over. So that's pretty much a dead giveaway that something's not right there. Do you think that has any effect on whether or not Jimmy or Naomi are available this weekend, Sasha Reigns?
Yes.
You think they won't be available, or you think they will?
I think that Naomi might be, but not to Jimmy.
All right, well, we'll have to keep an eye on it and see. Well, Sasha Reigns, thank you so much for the phone call. We appreciate it, as always.
You're welcome.
All right, Sasha Reigns there with us on the Speez and the Benchmark Show. And, of course, you can get in on the phone lines as well. 832-937-4559 is the number to get in. Now, we'll come back to the Jimmy Uso story later on. It's unfortunate. I believe this is the second time he's gotten caught with this. Is that correct?
I guess.
Well, it was one of the Usos, and I can't remember which one before.
They look alike. This is the one acceptable time
when you can say that they look alike, and it's okay. Don't mix up the Usos like WWE did on Twitter. Okay, well, I'm trying to figure it out here, man. I'm trying to get...
I thought I saw it was Jim, because Jimmy is the one married to Naomi.
Okay, well, then that would make sense. That would make sense.
Sure.
So back to our discussion of AEW fans and WWE fans. So, of course, Double or Nothing selling out in record time. And so I posed the question earlier, why is it that there seems to be this beef going on between WWE fans and All Elite Wrestling fans? It seems like the WWE fans don't want to give All Elite any credit whatsoever. This is a new company. They haven't done shit. Let's see them do it again. And now they've done it again, and now it's, well, let's see them do it on a weekly basis, and so on and so forth. And the All Elite Wrestling fans are like, we're coming for your fucking ass, WWE. We're going to take over the world. We're going to shut you down.
Change the world.
So on and so forth. So, you know, everything that the guys in All Elite have said, they've said all the right things. We're not trying to go head-to-head with WWE. We're not trying to take out WWE. All we're doing is we're trying to provide an alternative.
Yeah.
If there doesn't seem to be an issue between the companies, why do you think, and I am asking this to those of you in the chat room as well, why are the fan bases so passionate about defending their particular brand to the death and wanting to piss all over the other one? I mean, why are people just not willing to say, you know what, you like what you like and I'll like what I like, and fuck it?
Yeah, because fans can be idiots sometimes.
I mean, is it that simple that people are just clowns, or is there...
Yeah, pretty much it's that simple. I mean, because at the end of the day, wrestling is wrestling, so we should all be fans of all. I mean, everyone's going to have their shows, their feds that they like more.
Right.
But all wrestling is good wrestling in a sense. I mean, and if they can provide that alternative, that does nothing but makes the WWE better, because then it makes the WWE have to change how they do stuff. Without WCW, the Attitude Era wouldn't have been shit. It probably wouldn't have happened because of the fact that they had to change how they were doing it because of the groundswell of support and that WCW was getting. So at best, that's what I'm hoping for, is that AEW is so successful that it changes the way WWE does stuff and makes it more entertaining. And then you have those viable alternatives too. So, and then people aren't slaves to the system, to the big machine, and they know there's right now another viable place where you can go and make major money, because, you know, Ring of Honor is great, but only the top level guys, probably like your Marty Scurlls, will probably make a really, really good amount of money working that. But there's still vast people who, you know, don't really make that much working the Ring of Honor shows.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
So you need that place that can have that, where people can make a good living doing this. and provide that alternative.
So let's talk about some specifics here, because and Lit Mantis says it right on, because Twitter's where people go to complain, and wrestling fans complain all the fucking time anyway. So
that is true.
But one of the things I wanted to look at and sort of discuss here. So since we've got AEW on its way, and granted, it's a very small sample size. We're basically talking about the All-In show and what we have scheduled for Double or Nothing. So rather than just asking, okay, well, why do people not like this? Why do people not like that? People are going to like what they want to like, and so on. Let me pose it to you this way. What are you hoping to see from AEW that we're not currently seeing in WWE? And I'll ask the same question the other way around. What do you think that WWE is doing well that AEW won't give you? What are you going to get from one that you're not getting from the other? Let's start with, what are you going to get with what are you hoping to get? Because again, at this point, all we're doing is hoping. What are you hoping to get from AEW that you're not currently seeing in WWE?
More diverse talent. Like WWE, as many people as they have, there's only a finite number of spots at the top, and it's occupied by guys. It's almost like the guy that doesn't go away. Like everyone's worked a job where they're like the top level boss. They ain't going away. They're going to die in that position. And that's what the WWE kind of represents, is that, those top level guys, your John Cena's, your Brock Lesnar's, your Undertakers, will always be featured, especially come Mania time, will always be featured over the younger talent, because, like we've discussed before, they're proven commodities. They know they can sell a match.
Right, exactly.
And with AEW, what I'm hoping is that, it's more diverse. I mean, I honestly don't want to watch AEW to see the Bucks or Cody or Omega at the top of the card, because
we've seen them at the top of other cards.
Yeah, so I want to see the new guys that they're bringing up be at the top.
Revisionist book says tag teams, better matches, more top guys talent. I understand that. Yeah, here's one that I thought of immediately. And again, we're going off of what All Elite Wrestling says they're going to do, because, again, it's a small sample size. We don't know. I want to see, for me personally, I want to see wins and losses matter. I want to see, guys not go out there and lose and lose and lose, and then all of a sudden, just because it happens to be their turn in the rotation, they're getting a title shot or something along those lines.
Yeah, I want to see more.
I want to see wins and losses actually fucking matter. And that was one of the things that really stuck out to me. And granted, the little pep rallies that they have and things like that, All Elite is going to tell people what they want to hear. So, again, you take it with a grain of salt. But the thing that really stuck out to me is when Cody said wins and losses are going to matter. And we had a discussion about this on our show where a lot of people said, look, today wins and losses don't mean shit. And maybe that's the case, but I hate that. I want to see wins and losses actually matter. And
that would be a good turn, because
can they pull that off? Can you pull that off in modern day wrestling, or is it just there's too much shit going on?
I think it's too much shit going on, because it's gonna, if you do like a rankings or like a standings of like, this person is 6-0, this person is 5-1, that becomes stupid. You know what I mean?
That's true. That's true. Any kind of power rankings are pretty fucking stupid.
Man, fuck you. Anyway, but if you, it's kind of hard, because it lends itself, because sometimes you've got to be able to capitalize on a good marketing opportunity when it presents itself. And sometimes, like, people who, even though they're booked as quote-unquote job guys, are losing, put in such good efforts that, the fans get behind them.
Yeah, you do see that quite a lot. Like Rusev is a perfect example.
Exactly.
The whole Rusev Day thing, where the fuck did that come from?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it was like, holy shit, everybody loves Rusev. And I feel like WWE really missed that opportunity. Like, they could have pushed Rusev and really gotten a lot out of that. And I just don't think that they necessarily did the greatest job of that. So that could be good. Sorry, Lit Mantis, that Periscope. I've heard from other people that Periscope won't let you buy more super.
I guess he got it figured out.
So hopefully that got figured out. Let's see. Other people saying top 10 contender ranking system would be nice. Now, let me ask you that. Again, not necessarily a ranking system like that bullshit ranking that SmackDown did a couple months ago or whatever it was.
That led to nothing. But I mean, Ring of Honor actually did it pretty good years ago, to where like they made matches matter more, because you had to get to the certain like 1 or 2 position to even get a title shot. So the top 10 ranked, like if you're 10, you're still not getting a title shot. But say if you beat like someone that's ranked number 3, you guys basically, you go up and then it shifts everything down.
That's what I was going to say, because we see this in sports like boxing.
Yeah.
Where a guy is the number 1 contender and so is the number 2 contender and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
We're not going to see that in WWE anytime soon. I could honestly see them looking at something like that, looking at something where if you're going to say wins and losses matter, why not have something along those lines?
I mean, the thing with why I don't think that'll work is the only way that really would work is if you kept track of records. Because it's like MMA, boxing, they have records, 26-0, 15-2.
Right.
They have actual records to back up why they are the number 3 contender, why they are the number 1 contender. They don't have that in wrestling. So unless you're going to put that into place, it's still a arbitrary thing of like, you're just saying this guy's number 3. Well, why is he number 3? You can quote however a couple wins he had, but a lot of times, and some fans will do digging and see that, well, this person's won more than this person, but this person's number 3. And then it's like, well, this reeks of like WWE, just a marketing thing, or the guy that they want to push over. So
is it that hard to keep track of wins and losses? Would it be that radical of an idea to keep track
well,
of
it depends
wins
on
and
how
losses?
often they plan to run. If they're planning to keep up a pseudo toned down WWE schedule, yes. WWE not only on house shows, but you've got at least 12 pay-per-views, right? And then the Raws, you have a Raw and a SmackDown every week.
Yeah,
so that's 8 more shows. And then they do house shows on the days they're not doing Raw or SmackDown. So who's going to sit there and literally keep track of like, okay, Roman
that's what I'm
Reigns
saying. I don't see WWE doing it, but if you're talking about AEW maybe doing a once a week live show or once a week show, that's not as big. But then it's a
slow build to nothing, because you've got to have you would think that you need a little bit more than just a couple weeks of shows to be like, okay, this guy's 2-0, because that doesn't look impressive, right?
True.
He's the number 1 contender, but he's 2-0. That's because we've only had 2 shows and he won both of his matches.
That's fair.
So, I mean, I think that draws it out and would be a longer build, because you're going to have at least 10, 15 bouts under your belt to even be considered.
That's fair. Yeah,
and
that's
starting
fair.
off, they're all starting at 0. So with AEW, in a sense, because they did in the Indies, because you can't go back and track a lot of that. Or they did in like New Japan, who's going to want to go through all the footage of Kenny Omega in New Japan to see how his wins and losses are. So you essentially start the company, you all start at 0.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it would take some work, that's for sure. Bob Ruski said to have your owner, who's a stats guy, set up a system. I'm just interested to see, again, if you say wins and losses are going to matter, which is one of the things I look forward to, how are you going to make that work? How is that going to happen?
All it is that, you won't see like you see on Indies and WWE on just any show, a guy lose so many times and then end up his way into a tie. You won't see that storyline. Like the Kurt Hawkins storyline is going to be mean when him and Zack Ryder beat the Revival.
It's not going to fucking happen.
Yeah, it's going to fucking happen. But it's a whole storyline of him losing and then finally getting an opportunity, and he actually wins in a big situation. That's a storyline written. So you couldn't do that if wins and losses matters, because if he's going to lose every match as part of the storyline, then he can't. How are you going to justify him going against the champion?
Exactly. That's going to be one of those things that's tricky. So I'm interested to see how they do manage to pull that off.
Plus, I really think that I don't like the idea of the rankings, because I think the more entertaining matches are matches that people have issues, like personal issues. That's what we like see. At least that's what I like seeing.
Exactly.
Yeah, like
the storylines where guys
the storyline, the blood feuds and
yeah.
all that. That's what makes I like to watch. So I don't get as excited to know that, Kenny Omega is going to wrestle, Cody, because Kenny Omega is a champ and Cody's the number one contender, but that's all it is. Like there's nothing more than the base of he wants to keep his title, he wants to win. I like to see those storylines where, he's done something to him on a personal thing. He super kicked Brandy. You know what I mean? Hit Brandy with the one-winged angel. That's something that can get that guttural response from Cody to make it more than, sometimes it's good to have matches where it's about more than the title.
No, I totally agree. Now let's flip the script for a moment here and say, let's ask this question. What is it that WWE is doing that those of you who are not excited about AEW don't feel like you're going to get over there? What is it that WWE does that you look at AEW and go, well, that's not going to work over there. That's going to be shit over there. I'm not going to like that. I got a couple of things. Number one, I love the fact, I feel like in this day and age, you have to do your shows live.
Yeah.
In especially in any kind of sporting event, there's just too many fucking people that want to spoil results and so on and so forth. And of course, the fix is we'll stay off of social media. We kind of do a fucking show, so we have to keep up with these things.
Yeah.
One thing that I really hope we get from AEW is a live television program. If they're going to do the tape television thing, I got to be honest with you, that's something I'm not going to be nearly as excited about.
Yeah.
It's one of the things I don't like about NXT, and it's really difficult to find things not to like about NXT. They do a pretty fucking good job of things, but something about not seeing it live, it loses some of its luster for me. I'm really hoping that they have a live program that I can follow along with. Alistair Fiend says talent. He doesn't feel like the talent pool is as good in AEW. And again, this is all subjective. It's
subjective on the talent because you're also bred knowing that WWE is the only thing been around really for years. So all of these guys are, in a sense, unproven. But I look at it like this. These guys that they're getting, there's a reason why WWE is going back and signing more guys like the Sammy Guevaras and stuff to keep them basically away from AEW because they know people will follow and they'll get that cult-like following like ECW had. ECW started off with some basically glorified backyarders, in my opinion, that, not saying they all were that, but that was the feel. Like it was a very homegrown show. It wasn't a big production and people got behind it.
Mike Drop says, and Mike Drop, thank you for the Super Hearts, by the way, and get the tables for the Super Hearts again as well. We appreciate that. Mike Drop says WWE, as far as what they've got, feels like is going to be lacking in AEW. Live shows, number one, the depth of the roster, number two, and the future being seen. And that's one of the questions I have going forward about AEW as well. You've got your established guys right here, right now. Cody, the Bucks, Kenny Omega, so on and so forth. It'll be interesting to see who's that next wave. Who's that next wave of talent that's gonna take the baton and run with it when those guys are gone? Now, shit, they're probably just trying to get through the first year at this point with it being a brand new company. We're looking further down the road. But that's one of the things that you can see in WWE. You can kind of see that pipeline, especially now with NXT being what it is. You can look down and say, WWE is going to be in pretty good fucking hands with guys like Velveteen Dream and Aleister Black and, guys like that are working their way up that are going to be big deal superstars. Another thing in terms of what I feel like I'm getting in WWE that I may not get in All Elite Wrestling. This is me being an older guy.
A very older guy.
And I'm totally okay with that. Mm-hmm. When I was a kid and I grew up, wrestling superstars were fucking larger than life. Literally larger than life. I mean, I got to see Andre the Giant in person. I got to see Hulk Hogan in person. I got to see these guys, and they were fucking enormous. They were enormous, but they were athletic. And, Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant, not necessarily the two best examples, but, I mean, they looked like larger than life people. You get in the same room with them, and you're in awe of these guys. And I know that for a lot of the fan base, part of the interest and part of what makes guys like Marty Scurll, as an example, so endearing to the fans is because they feel like they relate to the guy.
Yeah.
He's not this big hulking fucking monster, this roided up, jacked up
Yeah, I mean,
insane
that's just a
person.
sign, like you said, of times changing. Is that
Exactly.
You know, even like Austin, what got Austin over is people related to him. Like everybody has had that boss that they wish they could just beat the fuck out of. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Things like that will get you over in this day and age. Whereas before, it was more about the big for show. Like you have to look like somebody, and to a certain extent, I still feel like you should, in a sense.
Right.
But you can. I'm not saying you have to be bulked up and muscled up, but you have to. I think it's a way of carrying yourself.
You have to
carry
have that
yourself
larger than
like
life
you're
personality.
A big deal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I don't. And granted, I've said this here on the program before. I haven't watched a lot of these All Elite guys in what they've done previously. I mean, I've seen some of it, but I haven't seen it obviously as much as I've seen WWE. I don't feel like there's that guy, or there are those guys that when they walk in the room, everybody kind of stops and goes, whoa. You know what I mean? Like there's
Cody.
You think he's that guy?
Yeah. Why wouldn't he?
I don't know. I don't get that sense about him.
I mean, I get that sense. I mean, when he walks into a room, he looks like somebody. Even though, and that goes to what I'm saying, even though he's not like fucking 6'8" and jacked with muscles, he looks like somebody. Like
Chris is so old. Warren says you'd appreciate that.
I did. I would say that he looks like he's somebody important, and that's how he carries himself.
Fair enough. Yeah, I don't get that sense with him. You know, I having been at that Ring of Honor show that we went to, and granted, it was cool seeing all those guys, and it was cool seeing Cody, and shit, I went backstage and I turned around, and next thing I know, I'm standing right next to, like, about where you and I are with fucking Marty Scurll, and didn't even realize it because, again, he's such a little fucking guy. Like, it just, and I'm not knocking the guy. It's just, I feel like WWE still builds their superstars in that way. Guys like a Roman Reigns. When Roman walks in the room, everybody fucking knows Roman walks in the room. You know what I'm saying? He has the look. He has that big, he just feels like a big superstar. He looks like that big superstar.
But it's not all muscles, though, is what I'm saying.
No, and I'm with you. It
Like,
doesn't necessarily have to be all muscles. But at the same time, it's just I don't get that sense from those guys. And again, maybe it's me not having watched them enough. And those of you that do watch these guys,
yeah, because I mean I'm familiar with vast majority of them, and they all are, to me, like they seem like big deals. Like there's a reason why they're there, you know.
Well, I
all
don't
the way
question
down
that.
to like your Sammys. I've seen him wrestle for years, and just amazes me every time. You know, you were a big fan of Kylie Ray.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
but she doesn't have that like traditional women's presence, but she still feels like when you see her, she looks like she's somebody. You know what I mean? And that's what I like about it. It's like, it's changing, so it doesn't have to be hulked up. It's no longer a body thing. It's about AEW is going to be more about the work, not like just because you look good. Because I think you were at that show where we had the guy that was like looked like he was cut out of stone.
Oh shit, yeah,
but
and this
could
dude
not
was a
work his
fucking
way out of
disaster.
a wet paper bag.
Oh my god.
I've never seen someone take a back bump on a bulldog.
Yes.
But somehow he managed to do that,
Yeah,
and
was
it
not
looked
good.
bad.
It was not good.
The AEW, what I'm looking more forward to is about the work. I think the work should matter, no matter what they look like. If they can go, I don't care if they're 300 pounds. If they can go and make it look believable, I love it.
That's fair. Yeah, I mean, there's just, and again, this is absolutely 100% a bias on my part. And it's one of those things that maybe I'll come around on when I watch these guys more. But, there's something about looking at these guys, and no, Babaruski, I do not want to see the great Khali, but, it's something about
massive.
No shit. But I'll tell you what, when Great Khali walks in the room, everybody fucking notices. That's for sure.
But he's like 7'6". You can't count that.
Yeah, exactly. You can't count that. Exactly.
You can't count that because even if he wasn't wrestling, he looks like he's you thinking he's doing something.
Ravensblood says Kenny Omega has that kind of presence, and
he does have that kind of aura about him. But I don't think if I saw him in person, I don't think he would have I don't think he's that big where you don't want to even go just walk up and say hello to him.
No, right. And listen.
Like, Kenny seems like the type of guy, like, I could just go up there, say hello, kick off a conversation, and he'll actually talk to me. Like Cody, and it's not knocking Cody, but he doesn't seem like that. Like, to me, he seems too big time. Like, I wouldn't want to, I'm not just going to try to shoehorn a conversation with Cody. I may say hello, and that's about it.
That's about it, because he's got shit to do.
Yeah, that's all we did when we were there.
That's exactly right. I was just about to say, when we worked backstage at the Ring of Honor show in San Antonio last year, Cody didn't have a lot of time to fuck around. I mean, pretty much everybody else walked around, said hello, and the other guy who didn't fuck around was Bully Ray.
Yeah.
You did not fucking just walk up and say, hey, what's going on, man? Big fan of yours. Bully Ray, how's it? Yeah. He had this fucking aura about him.
Yeah, he did.
Like, do not fuck with me. I will fucking kill you. And it was...
It was pretty cool. Like, when we were there the last time, a few weeks ago or a month ago. Yeah, he came up. He's like, you guys, you're from here? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, can you run and get me food? So we're like, okay.
Yeah, exactly. The last time I saw Bully Ray in person, he looked down at me when I was taking his picture from right up on the stage there, and literally looked like he was going to feed me my fucking camera. Because
yeah, I was literally looking at him like, because I would not put it past him to break that camera.
Mike Job, we appreciate the kind words, man. It's very cool of you, and we're glad you enjoy the show. Great Khali, you can't teach that. I'm totally agreed. The Queen of New England says, I met Cody last year, had 2 times to speak with him, and he was gracious, funny, and engaging. He seems like a spectacular guy.
I mean,
he just seems like a really great guy.
And I'm not saying, like, I don't want to get this out that I'm like saying Cody's a dickhole or something in person.
Right.
I'm just saying he has that aura about him that you don't really want to really engage in, like, you know, as we go in the store, as I go to shows and stuff, you know, I talk to pretty much everyone, but there's certain people that, you know, outside of saying hello, because that is wrestling etiquette, to make sure you say hello and goodbye to people, there's no one else I really talk to. Like, there's only a couple people that I'm like Billy Gunn was one.
I was going to say.
Billy Gunn was like, he had that, and he was like the coolest guy. He crashed our show when we were doing with Rikishi.
Rikishi was on
totally
our show.
Nice guy, but it's like, I just couldn't. He had that aura about him. Like, I'm not going to go talk to this guy.
Yeah.
Cody was another one.
Yeah. Jody says I'm too intimidated to approach a wrestler. Now, see, here's the thing.
Hey, Rusi says fix your.
I know the
Periscope
fucking mods.
moderator.
I got to add a moderator for crying out loud.
But I will make sure he do it right after we go off air.
I swear to God, even Rikishi was perfectly okay walking up and saying hello to Rikishi. There were so many guys, but Billy Gunn. You want to talk about a guy that has a presence about him. Yeah. That motherfucker feels like he's 9 feet tall. I mean, he is the most intimidating guy. And he's still fucking huge, despite the fact, he's in his 50s now? Yeah. I mean, that guy is fucking ginormous still. But it's the way he carries himself. It's that personality that he has. And again, this could just be my lack of exposure to those guys. But I don't get that sense with some of the guys in AEW. And honestly, I hope they change my mind, because that would be fucking fantastic. There are guys on that roster that I'm huge fans of. I fucking love Pac. I've loved Neville ever since he was with the WWE, ever since he was with NXT. All in for that guy. Absolutely love that guy. I enjoyed the shit out of Cody's work especially when we got to see him in person. Yeah. You get a real sense for just how fucking good he is. There's plenty of guys over there that I would love to see. But it just seems like there are going to be things that AEW does well that WWE doesn't, and vice versa.
Yeah, which is, I mean, that's life.
I don't feel like we had to, we don't have to kill each other, people. It's just dig wrestling. Road Dogg is a huge motherfucker in real life, says Bob Maruski. What's up to you, Darren Kirby? Good to see you, sir. It'll be fun to see. So, 832-937-4559 is the number to get in on the phone lines here.
832-93-SILK.
832-93-SILK. If you're just joining us, you haven't shared the program yet. If you would do so, we would appreciate that. Whether you're sharing it on Periscope or over on Twitter, we would very much appreciate that. I saw him last summer, and I agree with you about Billy Gunn. He was jacked and seems cocky.
Like, he wasn't, but you just had that. Because, like, I was outside, I was talking to Rikishi, and he came out and he was just talking with us and stuff, just joking around, normal, nice guy. But like inside, you were just like, nope, I'm not gonna talk to him.
Yeah. Rikishi called my son. I was like,
Yeah.
oh man, my son was so disappointed he couldn't talk to you. And I was talking to my son, and Rikishi was like, let me talk to him. And he talked to him on the telephone. Yeah, I mean, just nicest guy you'd ever want to meet. But there's just certain guys that have that presence. I would be scared to meet Pac. He's intimidating with his promos, and he wears his ring gear everywhere. So that might be kind of creepy just to see him that way. All right, so before we move on to Elimination Chamber, which is coming up this Sunday right here in Houston, Texas, we will preview that. But first, we've got to get to this week's edition of...
We need a drum roll on the drum machine.
The Benchmark Power Rankings for the week of February 10th, 2019. The top 5 wrestling performers of the week. And it doesn't matter what promotion.
No, it does not.
Top 5 of the week.
That I like.
There's only one fucking choice for number 1 here. So I'm excited to get to it because it will be fantastic. And I will very much be excited about getting to that moment. But let's start with number 5, as we always do on this week's Benchmark Power Rankings.
It is the new IWGP Heavyweight Champion, the Switchblade Jay White.
Jay White comes in at number 5, the win over Hiroshi Tanahashi to capture his first IWGP Heavyweight Championship.
I mean, it's and we talked about it on the show last on Monday. I feel like they kind of made the moment, they took away from the moment, but I mean, this is kind of historic. No one's ever beaten Tanahashi in Tanahashi's first events. I mean, he's had the title, 8 times, and he's always gotten past the first defense, so it's a big deal that Jay White was able to take the title from him in his first defense.
Fair enough. So Jay White coming in this week at number 5 on the Benchmark Power Rankings. Let's go to number 4.
All right, and number 4 is the extraordinary man that does extraordinary things, is how I'm going to say it.
Extraordinary
But
things,
that sounds so fucking stupid. Like, how's it extraordinary? That just sounds like he does lame-ass shit, like, in my opinion. So I'm going to say the extraordinary man that does extraordinary things.
Fair enough.
Finn Balor. I mean, big win in the 6-man tag. Got the pin over Bobby Lashley. I mean, he looked great doing it. Sold really well. So I think it was a good look for him going into his match against Lashley for the IC title. Hopefully they don't follow wrestling logic of he went over in the go-home show, which means Lashley's going to go over at the pay-per-view.
The Queen says Bullet Club heels are back, baby.
There we go.
People are very much excited.
Sweet.
But we're not going to fucking too sweet. Get
Too
it out of my
sweet.
fucking ear. Number 3 this week.
Number 3, Rubles, as I like to call him.
Rubles.
I mean, that match was phenomenal. And it takes 2 to do the match, so without Rubles, the Revival wouldn't have looked as good and vice versa. So I had to put Rubles on, and they were actually a really good tag team champ. As much as I didn't agree with just the 2 random guys and stuff and how they subsided that Gable doesn't have a gimmick and they subsided it into Bobby Roode's gimmick. But at the end of the day, they did look like a tag team, and it was great. We watched the match together. There was times where you were like, oh, fuck, it's another one.
And they made it work. If you guys are, whether or not you're fans of Jim Cornette, I highly recommend that you listen to this week's Jim Cornette Experience, where he actually sat down and watched Monday Night Raw, which he doesn't watch modern wrestling, but he heard that the Revival won the Raw Tag Team title, so he wanted to see that match, and he ends up offering a review of the entire show, which is fucking hilarious and spectacular. But his breakdown of this tag team title match was great. Yeah. So definitely check that out. All right, we're only 2 spots away. Let's get to number 2.
It would be the other guys in the match, the Revival. Finally winning the tag team titles. Good on them.
How the fuck are these guys number?
You know why they're number 2? Because, I mean, they were a great match, but they did not do enough to be number 1.
What the fuck are you? I'm trying to be better about not interrupting the Benchmark Power Rankings until after they're done.
Okay, so shut the fuck up and let's go to number 1.
So that's all you got to say about the top guys.
Yeah, they won. Good on them.
Son of a bitch. Number 1, this ought to be fun in this week's Benchmark Power Rankings. Here we go.
It's Kofi Kingston.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Oh, so you're not gonna praise? What is it? Because he's black? Because when Seth Rollins,
it's because he's black.
Because when Seth Rollins did this shit last year, they basically did the same thing as the setup for the Elimination Chamber match last year, and you raved about how
did somebody
Seth
win
Rollins,
the tag team titles that night?
You didn't
No,
care.
I don't fucking think so. Well, I don't think so. But go ahead again. Go ahead.
He went over 60 minutes.
That's true. That's great.
And who did he beat? You want to go down the list?
Go down the list, Silky.
Jeff Hardy. He beat Jeff Hardy.
Jeff Hardy, very good.
He started off by beating the WWE fucking champion, Daniel Bryan.
This is true.
He beat Samoa Joe.
Didn't he lose to Samoa?
No,
he did beat Samoa Joe. That's right. And then he got choked out by Samoa.
And then he beat AJ Styles. So I mean,
no, AJ Styles beat him.
No.
Yeah.
Wait, no. No, he lost. He did lose because
it was that bullshit out by
finish.
Samoa Joe, and then he got beat by AJ Styles.
But still gave AJ Styles a good ass fight, even though he was so spent and got choked out. But I mean, he literally ran the gauntlet, literally up until the last one. I thought the end was bullshit, where AJ finally takes like a second or takes a few minutes to beat him, and then all of a sudden out of nowhere RKO 1, 2, 3.
Exactly.
Then I've never seen no shit like this before. If you look when Orton was pinning him, you see the fucking graphics for the SmackDown like the show's going off air.
It was like 8:59, and we're going, wait a minute, fucking Randy Orton hadn't even been out there yet. And
but the fact that he did that was fucking phenomenal. And I know the Revival won tag team titles, but you can't knock that performance.
No,
that
I'm not going to knock the performance.
Amazing, even more amazing than the Revival. The only thing that makes that, because the Revival, one, you don't get to see Kofi like this because he's been a tag team guy.
Which is true, yeah.
And so you see the Revival in great matches all the time because they're a tag team. So that's one of the things that, because I honestly did consider about putting the Revival at number 1, but then I thought about it as like, what Kofi Kingston did was just so phenomenal that I couldn't justify putting the Revival over top just because they won tag team gold. I mean, yes, it was a great match. Yes, they did finally win the tag team titles, but that doesn't compare to what Kofi did.
Kofi was pretty amazing this week. I'll give you that. All right, to review the benchmark power rankings for the week of February 10th, 2019, they were
number 5, Switchblade Jay White. Number 4, Finn Balor. 3, Rubles.
Rubles is so ridiculous.
2, The Revival. And number 1, Kofi fucking Kingston. And how's that ridiculous? But you were calling
power rankings
McIntyre and Ziggler Ziggentire.
February
but that's
10th,
fine. But I call them Rubles.
Rubles
sounds funny.
Ziggentire, it kind of works.
No, how does it work? Just because it's a amalgamation of their names? That's what the fuck Rubles is.
Yeah, but there's no S. It had to be Ruble.
Whatever. I call them Rubles. Fuck you.
Whatever. Oh, my goodness. No, listen, I'm not going to knock Kofi Kingston. That was fucking spectacular. And I said it on Twitter the other day. How brilliant would it be? Because we've seen this shit before. I hearken back to the Intercontinental title ladder match at WrestleMania when my boy Neville got fucking injured and couldn't be in it. And the guy that they replaced him with was Zack Ryder. And no fucking body at all had Zack Ryder winning that match and becoming the Intercontinental champ. And that was one of the coolest moments. That was absolutely spectacular.
I don't think that he's going to win the title, though, just because, I mean, they put too much in this. I mean, maybe, I guess he could win the title and then lose it back at Fastlane, which would be a nice little thing, but I don't think they should hotbox the title this close to Mania.
Yeah, I'm with you. But and to be honest,
would I be mad if they did and they put it on Kofi? No, I would not.
No,
but I don't
definitely
think.
Not.
I think because of the way this match ended and how Kofi's performance, I don't think he knows. I don't think he's going to win it, but I do think he may end up being one of the last 2.
I think that would be great. The crowd would go nuts and they would love it. As we're seeing in the chat room, NoFX fan says Kobe's been around so long. He definitely deserves a title. In your opinion, who had a better performance, Kofi or Seth Rollins last year? Here's the difference in my opinion. I'll just chime in real quick. The reason I thought Seth Rollins' thing was such a big deal is because
he was white.
It's not because he was fucking white. I'll say it again.
What the fuck are you talking about?
It's not because he was white. It's because Seth Rollins was one of the top guys, like the main event guy. So to put your main event guy out there when you figure he's probably going to play a huge part in the Elimination Chamber match as well, to put him out there for that long, to me, was extremely fucking impressive. I'm not downplaying what Kofi did, but all I'm saying is,
I would make the argument though that that's what make Kofi's more impressive is that you didn't see it coming from Kofi Kingston. Like honestly, I thought he was going to lose against Daniel Bryan. So when he beat Daniel Bryan and went on to the next match, I'm like, okay. After he won that second match, that's when I'm like, oh, I think they're going to repeat.
See, and
that's my only knock though is that this is literally what they did last year.
Exactly.
But if I'm not mistaken, didn't he only wrestle like 2 of the guys before he was eliminated? He wrestled a long time, but he only beat Reigns and Cena. I think so.
I want to say maybe he beat 3 guys, but you could be right.
I think he wrestled like a 30-minute match with Reigns and then a 30-minute match with Cena. Then he got eliminated, and then they finished up the gauntlet.
Yeah.
So that's another thing that makes what Kofi did more is that he literally wrestled almost everybody, made it to the end.
The cynic in me thinks that Kofi went for as long as he did and took as much of a beating as he did so that they could save the other guys for Elimination Chamber. That's what the cynical guy in me says.
But
now,
they were all in
case.
that match too. I mean, with the exception, and even the AJ Styles match was a pretty brutal, grueling match. So, I mean, it wasn't like he was just running through everybody. I mean, they were taking just as much as they were given. So that's why, again, I think it was more impressive. And Priscilla said, "Yep, it was Roman and Cena."
Okay, yeah, John Baez there, yeah.
And so last year he went an hour and wrestled 2 guys versus Kofi went and wrestled 4.
Yeah, it's impressive. Look, I'm not taking anything away from what he did. That's definitely fantastic.
Which no one thought starting off that he would beat the WWE champion.
That was pretty good. It was pretty good. Kofi needs to beat Bryan at Mania, says NoFX. Rubles sound like something you will see on a menu at an Italian restaurant. Let's see. Warren Hayes is all about rubles, so that's good.
Yeah.
I bet Kofi gets eliminated first at the Chambers.
That would be fucked up.
That would be fucked up. And yes, Zach did lose the title the next day on Raw to The Miz, but
SmackDown.
Was it on SmackDown?
It was on SmackDown.
Chris, I want to hit that say yeah button as I agree with you. Yeah, Mike Drop is with me about the Revival being number 1. But again, I'm not going to hate on Kofi Kingston because he's fantastic. Seth beat Roman and Cena, then lost. Kofi went 45 minutes, yeah.
He went actually over 50.
Yeah, it was pretty good. And then I'd love to see them build a Kofi New Day versus Daniel Bryan Green Day battle. So, it was very impressive what we saw from Kofi Kingston. So let's get to Elimination Chamber before we get out of here this evening and talk some predictions. First of all, the Elimination Chamber match itself. We saw all 6 competitors in action on Tuesday night on SmackDown Live. Did that have any bearing on your pick for this weekend? Who do you have coming out on top for the Elimination Chamber match?
Just because I think Daniel Bryan. I think you can't change the title from him. He's got as good as he's done as this heel, you have to have him lose it at Mania if you're going to have him lose it.
Yeah, I don't see them taking it off Daniel Bryan at this point in time. I thought Randy Orton's. I love the RKO thing. Jody said it earlier. Easiest money he ever made. But
I know, but it was just so fucked up.
Yeah,
I really was not.
As soon as they were there with that close up on AJ,
it's like
I was like, okay, it's coming. It's coming. You're just waiting for it. So, who is the benchmark of pro wrestling? Silky Bane, says only Mac Diesel. Only Black Diesel, I should say, because
Black Diesel. That was a great.
All right, so let's just go down the matches here. So you and I both have Daniel Bryan coming out on top in the Elimination Chamber match. I hope WWE throws us a curveball and gives us Kofi Kingston. I think that'd be amazing. I would not be at all disappointed if Samoa Joe was the guy. But
no, I wouldn't be. Really, the only one, AJ, Orton, and Hardy would be the 3 that I would not want to see. And nothing is, I'm not a big Jeff Hardy fan. AJ just had the title, so I don't think putting it on him really does anything. And Orton again had the title so many times. I would love to see Joe or Kingston win it if Daniel Bryan is going to lose.
Daniel Bryan versus Kofi at Fastlane, says John Baez. That would be. Nobody else wants to carry the hemp belt, says Ravensblood.
I really honestly wouldn't mind Kofi winning and then just dropping it, because it's almost like the thank you for all the years of service.
I totally agree. I would have no problem with that.
So I wouldn't mind that.
No.
Oh, speaking on a side note, the Revival. Did you see Dash Wilder's thing of like he's pushing almost a petition to bring back the old school WWE tag team titles.
No, that's awesome.
Like he's got pictures of it on his Twitter, and then he's got like a picture of him and Dawson with it photoshopped on him, like the old school, the one that Demolition and shit had. He's like, bring back the GOAT World Tag Team titles.
Top guys, man. That's what the top guys do. Let's move along here to the SmackDown Live Tag Team Championship match. McMiz taking on the Usos, assuming that Jimmy or Jay, whichever it was of them that got arrested. I would only assume that those guys will still be there. Usos versus McMiz. Who do you got?
McMiz.
You got McMiz?
Yeah.
Again, we're so close to WrestleMania. It would be kind of surprising. Now, I will say this.
I think the
more I think about it,
like one year the Usos dropped the belts like literally the pay-per-view before Mania.
The more that I think about this, I think we're building to a Shane McMahon Miz match.
Yeah.
And quite possibly at WrestleMania. I'm going to go with the Usos here. I'm going to go with the Usos taking the title because it opens up the door for McMahon. Shane or Miz to get pissed off at one of it. Obviously, Miz is probably going to be the one to go heel, and you're working towards your match at WrestleMania. So I'm going to go upset
I really feel like
and go with the Usos.
If that was the case, they should have put them together a while ago and had them win the titles a while ago, so they'd have a couple of title defenses. So it makes sense because it's too sudden of a turn. You lost your first title defense, really, and now all of a sudden you're at odds.
Could be.
T.I. style.
Could be. Fuck this tag match,
though.
says get the table.
I think it's going to be really good, though. I think it's going to surprise people.
It probably will be very good. How about the Cruiserweight Championship match, Buddy Murphy versus Akira Tozawa?
I guess, Buddy.
Yeah,
I don't really watch 205 Live, so.
One of the Usos got arrested. I don't think, well, we'll see. We'll see. They got arrested before and showed up the next day. I mean, it's no big deal. Not my SmackDown Live champion, says Mike Drop. And Jimmy the one getting pinned because he's the one that got arrested. That's probably what it'll be. I'm with you on Buddy Murphy.
Yeah.
Let's go to Ronda Rousey taking on Ruby Riott. I don't give Ruby Riott a chance in hell of winning this match.
She has no chance in hell of winning. But with that being said, I do think with all the noise that she's been talking and that they've been bringing up on WWE television, this match is going to be way more competitive than anyone thought it would be.
Probably so. Raven's Blood says the Miz father is going to cost them the match and team up with Shane.
That's fucking interesting, man. That's fucking interesting.
That would be kind of interesting to see Shane's dad on there. You just got to push it.
I know. I don't know which one it is.
It's that one. That's the one. Go ahead. Yeah.
No.
That's the one. All right. We've got Bobby Lashley and Lio Rush versus Finn Balor. Intercontinental title match.
I'm going Finn Balor. Now, correct me, is this a thing of like if Lio Rush pins Finn, then Lashley keeps his title, or is it whoever gets the pinfall is the Intercontinental champ?
That's a good question.
I don't know, but I really think that this is a good way. I think that Rush ends up pinning. Balor ends up pinning Rush to win the Intercontinental title.
All right. I agree with you. I think, no, I don't agree with you. I think Bobby Lashley is going to keep it a little while longer. It's a great spot for Finn. I think an Intercontinental title picture is perfect for him. I think he could do a lot with that. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. Something just tells me they keep it on Bobby Lashley a little longer. Ruby with the upset, says John Baez. Why the hell not? We'll see. Jody's got Ronda Rousey, and John's also got Buddy Murphy taking that one. All right, let's move on to Braun Strowman versus Baron Corbin in a no disqualification match.
Strowman.
You got Strowman?
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Corbin. I don't know why. I just have a feeling Corbin's going to win this one.
I think this is kind of like a build-up to... he's been taking an ass whooping from Corbin and McIntyre and shit, so I feel like this is his time to get his heat back and win.
I hope so. But something... I don't know. I just got this weird feeling Corbin's going to win. NoFX says it is a handicap match. If Leo pins Lashley is still the champ. So if Leo ends up getting the pin, Lashley would still keep the championship. That makes sense. All right. Last but not least, we have the crowning of the first ever women's tag team champions. You've got Nia Jackson, Tamina versus the Riot Squad versus Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville, the Iconics, Sasha and Bayley, and Naomi and Carmella. This, of course, being an Elimination Chamber match. 2 teams will start in the ring. The other 4 teams will be in the chambers.
And it's going to be Bayley and Sasha and Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville starting off.
Okay, so with that being said, who's going to be the last team standing and the first ever WWE Women's Tag Team Champions?
Shit, I don't know, honestly.
Oh,
I think I want to say Bailey and Sasha.
It seems like the logical pick.
Yeah. But would I pick them? No. Just because, I mean, I'm a big fan of tag. Like, I think either the Riot Squad, but they don't win shit. But I would have either the Riot Squad or the Iconics because they're literally the only two actual tag teams in here. One of them win it. But, Iconics are more comedy bits, so they're probably not going to win. And Riot Squad, shit, I don't know when they won.
Yeah, they seem to get beat all the time.
Like, I listen to a lot of stuff, and like I agree with what they say about Ruby Riott about being a star, but I also think, like, what is it that makes people think she's going to be a breakout star with the way she's been pushed, losing and losing and losing and losing? I couldn't tell you the last big win she's gotten.
So who you got?
I guess I'm going to go with the Boston Hug Connection.
Boston Hug Connection. I'm actually going to go with Naomi and Carmella. You've got two former women's champions. I don't think there are a lot of people that would say, oh, well, they're not deserving. I mean, look, they're two damn good wrestlers. Say what you will about Carmella. She's come a long way.
Oh, yeah.
And she's done a fantastic job. I think the fans enjoy them both.
Bailey and Sasha are two former women's champions.
This is true. But that's, I don't know. WWE tends to go. You remember we had Heath Slater and Rhino becoming the first ever SmackDown Live tag team champions. We always seem to get the obvious pick in these types of matches.
And this is what I love about this match and how it was booked is that it's one of those things like with the men's elimination chamber, we're speculating. We'd love for Kofi to win. We'd love for Samoa Joe to win. But everyone pretty much knows that Daniel Bryan's winning that motherfucker.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
So on this one, it's like that era of like, honestly, you could make a case with the exception of probably the Iconics. You could probably make a case that any one of those teams could win that match and walk out the women's champions.
That's true. That's true. It is good in that respect. So,
but I think I'm gonna stick with Bailey, but I'm kind of thinking of the Mandy Rose and
Sonya Deville. Fire and Desire, as they're called. That's who Mike Drop's got winning.
James.
John Baez has got Nia and Tamina winning. Jody is going with Mandy and Sonya as well. Let's see. DX has got Nia and Tamina. No effects. Boss and Hug will probably win it at Mania. And Strowman and Nicholas being tag team champs indeed. So, yeah, the tag team division's always been kind of crazy on the men's side. So, probably could get something along those lines on the women's side as well. Folks, we enjoyed the back and forth this evening. We enjoyed everybody joining us here on the program. Let's give a quick shout-out, Silky, before we say goodnight to all the folks here with us who have stuck with us throughout the program here on Periscope. And
Get the Tables, Anthony, Raven, Bill, Kevin, Jeff Cross, Two Sweet Wrestling Podcasts. Yup. Jody, Ted, Mike, and two other motherfuckers I can't see.
That's right. And to John Baez, Alistair Feed, Barbaruski, Mr. Warren Hayes, all you good folks who joined us over on the YouTubes, thank you guys as well. We are back Monday night after Monday Night Raw. Of course, we have a pay-per-view coming up this Sunday, so you know what that means on Monday.
Smart Tears.
A brand new edition, Elimination Chamber edition of Smart Tears, one of our favorite segments here on the program.
Yes.
So be sure to join us for that. Silky, anything else to get out there for the people before we say goodnight?
February 23rd at Katie's Elks Lodge. I'll be at DZW wrestling T-Ray in a Falls Count Anywhere match. It will get very violent very quick. At DZ Wrestling on Twitter, DZW Inc. on Facebook for more information on that. For the Benchmark, Silky Baines, yo.
Chris Speez, thank you so much for being with us here on the program. We will see you Monday night following Monday Night Raw. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. Thanks for being with us here on the Speez and the Benchmark Show. Good night, everybody.